Greetings, Las Vegas, and to all of our listeners and viewers worldwide. This is a Las Vegas Sun podcast breaking down the NCAA Tournament. I'm Ray Brewer, managing editor, along with Case Keefer, assistant sports editor, who's kind of you are our guru. I don't know, why you're there. No, you're the best. You're the best. You know what's going to happen on this piece of paper better than anybody I know. And I know I don't know what's happening on this piece of paper because by 10:30 Thursday, the team I have in the 8-9 game will have lost, and my 3-team parlay will have failed miserably 0-3. Case, I always appreciate your feedback. Before we get into the pool, I got to ask you a personal question.
Okay, let's go.
Give me your, and I kind of teed you up, so this isn't a surprise.
Okay.
What is your favorite NCAA tournament memory, first as just a fan, and secondly, maybe as a fan in Las Vegas?
Okay, so I'm glad you said favorite because there's a couple different ways we can go with this: positive, negative. I know we're probably talk some of it from the betting perspective as bettors. I feel like we always remember that the ones that hurt more than help, but positive. I think we're both kind of spoiled because we've both seen our team win a national championship in our lifetime. I have 3, of course. You have 1. I only remember 2 of them, so I could probably only claim 2. I was very, very small the first time Kansas won the title. But so of course the national championship, that has to come to your mind right away. I was at Kansas when they won in 2008, probably one of the more famous shots in tournament history, and Mario Chalmers hitting that shot. 2022, I was here in one of the best betting days I've ever had because I was really high on Kansas to win the title that year. Had futures on them. Did something I don't always do and hedge the other way, but North Carolina plus 3.5. Had Ochai Agbaji to win MVP. All that happened. I think KU won by like 2 or 3 at the end of the game. Cashed all those tickets, so that was unbelievable. And the other one, away from just my rooting interests, I'd say if you said, I don't know how you framed it, but you said favorite in Las Vegas, I think there's never going to be a time I don't think about the tournament anymore that I don't remember that regional debuting here. Gonzaga, UCLA, Julian Strawther, who we love, been a Suns champion him for a long time, hits that crazy 3-point shot at the buzzer to beat UCLA and get to the Elite Eight where they didn't get blown out by eventual national champion UConn, but only a couple years ago, and I think that one's always going to be up there.
Yeah, near mid-court shot. So I'm glad you brought up UNLV winning the Natty. If everybody looks behind me, we've got the clipping from Las Vegas Sun. I was an 8th grader at the time. Were you alive? In 90?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was an 8th grader. I remember storming the streets of East Las Vegas in celebration. We didn't burn any mattresses like they do.
I was too young to remember.
Okay, but
I was alive.
But but it was a good night. One of my favorite memories involves you, and I don't know if I'm hurt you didn't mention this.
All right,
but do you remember we went one year to a viewing party at the Cosmo?
Yeah, I remember.
It was the greatest. If you haven't been to one of the cool viewing parties on the Strip, I'm telling you, and I'm frugal, it's worth its weight in gold because we had gigantic ballrooms, TVs the size of whatever, like entire countries, and all you could eat food, Pop-A-Shot basketball games, a ton of people. We get there, we're the first ones in. It's like 9:15. And we eat. I don't know, I like a breakfast sandwich with the best of them. I swear to you, by halftime, I was dozing in and out of consciousness. I might have fallen asleep on those sofas. Of course, lost my bet, yada, yada. But that to me was like, you got to do it once. I don't know if I've got the metabolism to do it every year. And I'll warn everybody, we've got a story in tomorrow's Las Vegas Sun on Tuesday about how temperatures are going to be 25 to 30 degrees hotter than usual. If you drink a lot of alcohol without enough water, it could be a health risk. Be careful if you're on the Strip.
A lot of pool parties with games now, too. That's newer. I don't feel like when we went to that 12 or 15 years ago, however long, there aren't as many pools showing the game.
Yeah, get that Larry Johnson take top at the Circa pool.
Okay. That'd be a strong.
All right.
I do definitely remember that. I even remember, I think there was was it like an Ohio State, South Dakota State game? I think came down to the wire there. Although I'm surprised you made it such a thing as I remember. I feel like you were in a hurry to get out of there.
Oh,
I guess you had your one good half, and then you were.
I was in it. Well, yeah, because I'm responsibility.
I understand.
My whole life doesn't revolve around this bracket. I'm looking at this bracket, and I haven't started to fill it out yet because I know there's a lot of problem areas. The favorites, Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Florida, all number 1 seeds. Could we possibly see 4 number 1 seeds? Because everybody says, and you're not everybody, but everybody likes the top 4 seeds. I do know that there's the region where Houston would host the regional final against Florida, Houston a 2 seed, but Duke, Florida, Michigan, Arizona, they look good.
Well, we got all 1 seeds last year, right? Only the second or third time. I'm going to say no, it doesn't happen this year. I might have been more open to it, so maybe it's just recency bias. Like a month ago, I think that there were 4 or 5 teams that just looked so much better than each other. But now you look at these 1 seeds, and I feel like even though the odds paint them as I think they're like lower in the futures market than 1 seeds are usually coming into the tournament. I still think there's things to poke holes in all these teams. I mean, Duke now dealing with some injuries. The center should be back now, but they're going to be without their point guard, of course, so that's going to put more onus on Caden Boozer, who may or may not be up to the task. I think they're the rightful favorite. They should get there, but still, they don't look as sterling as they would have, like I said, a month ago. I guess probably the overall number 2 seed, Arizona. You probably should just not listen to what I say about Arizona this year, as I've been just so dead wrong about them. I've been trying to beat them all year, and they've just been too good. That they're so athletic. But that being said, I just do think there's some things about the way they play that I just don't love. I mean, they don't shoot at all. They shoot fewer threes than anyone in the tournament. They just blitz everyone with their athleticism. I don't know, just their style I don't love. Too many mid-range jumpers. I just feel like at some point it's going to bite them. So I'm still looking to beat Arizona. Again, I've been trying to do it all year and haven't done it, so I could be wrong there. But Arizona, I probably don't have in my initial Final Four. Michigan was like historically good for the opening 3 or 4 months. It looked like they couldn't be beaten. But lately, I mean, they're really stumbling down the stretch. Now, I'm usually the person that says, don't pay attention to that. You buy low on these teams, take the fuller sample. They kind of remind me of Auburn last year, who stumbled down the stretch, but looked amazing at the beginning. Auburn still made the Final Four, didn't get to the national championship. But yeah, I think Michigan now has a little bit more flaws than they did. And then Florida, Florida, last time we saw them, they lost by 20 to Vanderbilt. They're really good up front, but they don't have the guards that won this championship last year. I think if they do match up with Houston, I mean, that's basically a pick'em game, probably in the South region final. Even Illinois, they're probably only
Houston, though.
Yeah, in Houston.
Yeah,
so it's still probably like a pick'em one, whatever. Illinois, if they play them in the Final Four, that's another game there. And the Elite Eight, that's another game that is going to be a really short spread. Even maybe if they play Vanderbilt again in the Sweet 16, we just saw Vanderbilt crush them. So I don't really think they're a particularly strong number 1. So famous last words, you can cut this and everyone can make fun of me, but I really do not see all 4 number 1 seeds making it this year.
Okay, I told her that I would mention this in the podcast, but Hillary Davis, our schools reporter, is an Arizona grad.
Oh, that's right.
And she says they habitually underwhelm in the tournament. So don't get all crazy. So you guys kind of align together. I look at this bracket, and to me, Michigan is like, I don't want to use sure thing. That's not a good word, but they have the best path, right? I mean, Iowa State is the 2 seed. Virginia's the 3. Alabama's the 4. Their second leading scorer got arrested today. And the 5 is Texas Tech, whose best player tore his ACL.
Exactly.
To me, there's such a great path for Michigan to get to the Final Four. Whereas if you look at the East, right, Duke, which you said they've got some injuries to deal with. And then if you look, UConn is, despite losing to St. John's, they're good. Michigan State's always good with Izzo. KU, I don't know about KU. You'd probably think they're going to lose. Why even pack your bag?
It's a tough Sweet 16 game if they play Kansas or St. John's. I think that's a tougher Sweet 16 game than I agree with you on Michigan. I would be pretty shocked if Michigan's not in the Elite Eight. I mean, I already thought they were a great matchup with Alabama. Now Aiden Holloway with his status. I think Texas Tech was amazing with JT Toppin, but now he's hurt. We totally agree. I will say, though, if they take on Iowa State or even Virginia in the Elite Eight, that's no gimme. I'm really high on this Iowa State team. I've been higher than most on them all year. I think actually my first run through the bracket, I had Iowa State knocking off Michigan behind. I don't think we were just mentioning the locals. I might have missed this. He might be the best player in the nation. Joshua Jefferson has just put his game up a level this year at Iowa State. I mean, he probably should be the national runner-up to Cam Boozer. He just does everything for the Cyclones. And, Michigan would still be favored in that game. They'd probably win. But I would not sleep on Iowa State.
Yeah. So people are watching this for picks.
Okay.
Right? Give us, first of all, this tournament is so impossibly impossible and difficult to handicap.
One and done. Yeah, it's tough when
And not just
bad
one
and you're done.
the opinion of many millions that wager on this. Do you have any strategies in terms of picking games? Because my strategy usually doesn't work.
I mean, I don't know if there's any just overarching strategy. I would say just, I know this is like the number one strategy I do for all sports, tell people that seems like so counterintuitive, is that you kind of just have to deal with the results, but not overvalue them. I think it's much more important and going to tell you more long-term when you look at, okay, I bet just the first game I was up, Duke, Siena. Let's say Duke, you lay like 27 points, they close a 31-point favorite or something like that. Even if they don't end up covering the 27, you made a good bet. You got 4 points of closing line value. So I think you really look at that and try to beat the market, try to bet these games early, and try to get the best number. And if you do that, the rest will take care of itself, even though there's a lot of variance on a game-to-game basis. So yeah, I would just say, don't be so emotional. Just don't overreact to the results. Really, I think you got to constantly be looking at your process is my biggest thing. And I think especially after these first round games roll out, Brewer already mentioned, like, people just want to camp in front of the TV and watch these games all day. They don't want to think about anything. As soon as there's a matchup, Nate, start thinking in your head, what would I make the number on this game? There's so many great resources online. Maybe look into them. Put a number on the game and bet like the second round games as soon as they're made up. And more times than not, you're facing less competition the earlier you're betting. If you have any idea where the number should be, that would be a big thing, I would say. Bet them early. It's kind of already too late for the first round games. There's already been a lot of money thrown into the market, but it's something we can do now that now as we get more matchups as this thing goes forward.
So my theory of putting in a round robin of all overs at 9:05 Thursday is not a good.
Hasn't there been I don't play a ton of totals, but I feel like there's been some trend of like haven't the unders been doing super well in these early NCAA tournament
Hence
games?
the need for me to go make a deposit. Okay, yeah, it's speaking of totals, and I'm going to speak from personal. You either get games that are flying over, and then all of a sudden they take the air out of the ball to get to the final 2 minutes, and then you get the games that are flying under, and you think you're going to go to the bank, and then it's that foul and free throw and extend the game, and get the student manager in and have him shoot a 3-pointer and add 3 minutes to the clock to screw me. So, is there, looking at our bracket, every year we see a 5-12, a 12-5, or a 13-4. Sometimes we've seen a 2-16. Is there a team that's jumping off this page where you're like, Hawaii over Arkansas?
I did see something interesting last night that I think it makes a lot of sense. And this is the highest point spreads the 1 through 4 seeds have ever laid against the 13 to 16s. And it really makes sense if you think of the state of college athletics and the NIL budgets. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense anymore that what do we see? Lehigh beat Duke the one year. Like, you're just seeing Duke has so many more resources now than Siena. Not that they always didn't, but it's just so magnified now that, man, I'd be really surprised if you saw one of these major upsets. I mean, maybe a 13 over a 4, but
like Cal Baptist over KU.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. That game is in San Diego, but Kansas has a lot of talent. I wouldn't be too worried about them against Cal Baptist. I think that, and I usually do like to pick one huge upset, but I think I have all the 1 through 4 seeds advancing. I actually say it's kind of a big myth now, the 5 versus 12. Like the last 5 or 6 years, it has been like a wasteland. There's not been many 12s that have won, even though that's the one everyone always reaches towards, that the 12 seeds won. The 12 seeds have not done well recently. However, I do think one will probably get it done this year. I'm looking over them real quick. We already mentioned Texas Tech without JT Toppin. I think Akron has a chance there. I think the MAC was a little bit better than usual this year. Of course, Miami of Ohio getting all the publicity for their 30-0 start to the season before losing in the conference title. But I think Akron's pretty tough, really well coached, plays a smart style. They could be tough for Texas Tech. Another 5-12 game I look at. I think High Point has the nation's longest winning streak right now. I haven't loved Wisconsin all year. I think this is one of the games I might have already bet. I might have bet High Point, like they opened plus 11.5, something like that. I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I think High Point or Akron. I'll say that one of those two teams is the biggest upset of the first round.
All right. Do you want my...
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I mean, I'm looking over this, and is a 7-10 game an upset?
Well, it depends on the line. I mean, we've seen 10s in the past be favored over 7. I don't think that's the case this year. I think the 7s are all favored, albeit all of them slightly. I bet one of the 10 seeds, and I'm looking at a couple others. So let's see, what 10 are you going with?
Okay. If we get this on the same one, people need to run to the bank, right? Because you and I have never agreed on anything.
Oh, yeah, thanks for the shout. The last time we did this video, the Super Bowl, we were on opposite sides. So score another one for me. That was an easy win.
All right. I had to pay
for it this time, though.
Okay. Santa Clara, money line over Kentucky.
I, of course, that would need to know the price, but I will say I don't dislike it. I'll probably end up picking Santa Clara. Make sure you go to LasVegasSun.com, pick up Las Vegas Sun, all my picks. I will say I do know this game specifically, so I was like, man, I think this is a good spot for Santa Clara. I did my numbers kind of preliminary last night, did them all this morning. I think I came out at Kentucky minus 3.5, and it is 3.5. So this is not what I've actually bet, but I think a lot of people would expect Kentucky to be laying more than that to Santa Clara. But Kentucky, I mean, they're talking about injuries. It's been a couple months now, but they have both Lowe and Quaintance. They're the two guys they were building around hurt. Santa Clara, really high flying offense. I can see that one for sure. We're not opposite, that's for sure.
Okay, so one theory, and we're all talking about theories, right? Is these conference tournaments, which aren't going away because they're huge revenue boosters, take a physical toll on you, right? And if you go to that Kentucky Santa Clara game, the WCC at Orleans Arena they've had a full week off to recuperate. Whereas Kentucky, was in the SEC, a little more physically demanding. I don't know, sometimes we fall in love with the team in the conference tournament and, they've won, they get a ring, they're content. And unfortunately they get there and they're just gassed. Do you use that theory at all in your handicap?
Not a ton. The way I do, I will say that I see sometimes come through. I just feel like there's narratives either way that we apply after the fact. It's so easy to look smart in hindsight. Like I feel like we've seen it both ways with the WCC. I'm always going to be a guy that I do think there's a little bit to the rest. So I might give a slight bump to a team that's had that week-long rest. I'd rather you have not played than played. That being said, we've seen like Gonzaga start sluggish or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, well, they're rusty. They haven't played in a while. Then if they blow someone out, it's all they haven't played in a week. They've had time to rest. So I feel like it's too liberally applied just based on the outcome. But I will say I do usually go with the rest. And I will say a lot of times I do find myself fading these teams who get hot through the tournament. And it's not necessarily because of the fatigue factor, but I think a lot of times it's because the market and the public at large gets really excited when like, oh, this team just ran through the conference tournament. They're peaking at the right time. But a lot of times I don't necessarily think it is peaking at the right time. I think it's variance. I always want that like full season sample to see how a team did. Give me 30 games over 4 games. This year, however, I can't think of an obvious candidate. I mean, the two teams that ran through the conference tournament that were somewhat underdogs and ended up winning it, the two biggest were Purdue and Arkansas. And I actually like both of those teams this year. So I'm kind of I guess I'm kind of going again, contradicting myself, but I think Arkansas got a really good draw. Maybe Arkansas is a team, if they were playing someone different, I would be looking to bet against them. So I feel like the hype's at a high for them right now. And Purdue, I just felt like underachieved all year. And now it feels like it's kind of coming together at the end. They have such a well-built team. They have a team that should do well.
And they've got a decent little coach.
Yeah. So, those are two I think of that, maybe in the past, if this team was, this team is getting so much love for their run through the tournament that I'd be like, I'm not sure. And maybe St. John's is one this year. They looked great in the Big East tournament. I just think the Big East stunk this year. This is the worst Big East I can remember. So I might be looking to bet against some of these Big East teams.
And they kind of got disrespected with that 5 seed.
Yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, UConn a 2 and St. John's a 5.
Same bracket.
I'm more skeptical of UConn than probably even St. John's as a 2, but I don't know how tough they're. They probably have a pretty easy path to the Sweet 16.
Okay, who's your dark horse to reach the Final Four? And then I'm going to ask you for your official Final Four.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I have my answers, but go ahead.
Dark horse. God, I might. I was pretty chalky. I do think all the 2 seeds have been.
Well, hold on, dude. Speak English. What is chalky?
Chalky.
Do I know what chalky means?
When I get to your
Hillary, not what chalky means. What does chalky mean for the general?
Well, when we get to our official Final Four picks, I don't think I'm picking anyone over a 2 seed this year. I think the ones at 2 seeds are, I think they're way better than everyone. I will say the 2 seeds have kind of what Villanova won maybe 2018, 2019. Since then, the 2 seeds have kind of been disappointing. I really look at this as a year where the 2 seeds are strong. I think we'll see a couple 2 seeds in the Final Four. That being said, if I had to pick, well, what are we considering a long shot?
Is it higher? Is it 5 seed?
Okay, well, you might be setting me up for this because I know you are on this team and I'm on this team. I have a really big Final Four bet on them too. But if I had to pick a team 5 or higher to make the Final Four, I'd probably go Vanderbilt. I really like this team.
That was God, that would be so good for me. Okay.
Yeah, I like their draw. Like, I mean, I know I keep talking about this Florida game. It's just one game, and Florida quoted a 7.5-point favorite. But if they get to the Sweet 16, they match up well with Florida. I like their guards against Florida. I love their coach, Mark Byington.
Collins on?
He's been hurt. Yes, he is. That would be nice.
Maybe he'll get another
Collins.
ability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, if I had to pick, the 5 or higher, I would probably be on Vanderbilt. Just no one else really catches my eye. I mean, maybe a couple 6s, like Tennessee. I mean, all the 6s just about. I don't really like North Carolina, but Tennessee, Louisville, BYU all have at least like one superstar that you don't know. Maybe they could take over and win some games. We didn't see Louisville's stud freshman Michael Brown didn't play in the ACC tournament, but he'll be back. Maybe he can make some noise. BYU lost Richie Saunders, which really hurt, but they have, of course, A.J. DeBansa, and Tennessee with Nate Ament, Jacoby Gillespie. They're tough. So, yeah, maybe the 6 seeds are ones to look out for as well.
All right. I like the Vandy pick, as I told you. And, I still am rooting for Texas Tech, but I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Texas Tech, too. I'd love it. But, man, I think J.T. Toppin is like a top 5 player in the country.
Well,
him's tough.
We do our Final Four picks. Are you ready?
You go first. You go first.
So despite what everybody says, I think Duke is great, and I have Duke. I'm writing it in with my pencil. I'm going to go over to here because I love Michigan, and I can't. My dad is going to. Please don't listen. My dad hates Michigan with all of his heart, but this bracket is garbage in my opinion.
I like the bottom. I don't like the top half at all, so I agree. Michigan, free trip to the Elite Eight.
Okay. Now it gets a little weird for me on this side of it. Okay. I think this bracket is going to be complete chaos. And I'm gonna go out and this is my big jump. If this comes through, will you text me and tell me how great I am?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think Wisconsin's going to the Final Four.
Oof. I just picked High Point.
Did you?
You asked me first 12 upset. All right. I will give you a lot of props.
Okay. I just think that Arizona's overrated. I think Wisconsin plays great defense. Look at the numbers. And I have Wisconsin. This one in my heart, because there's a local that we know, we've covered, and we've known since a kid. I want to say Houston, but I don't see Nebraska going, right? You said North Carolina's garbage. I have a low opinion of Illinois. And so it's either Houston or Florida.
All right.
Right? And the game's going to be at Houston, so I'll take Houston. You're right. You're fine. Do you want a different color pen?
We should have printed out another one. I need some of these too. My printer at here was not working that well, but
I got a different color pen.
All right. I agree. Like I said, chalky, which I had to explain, but the tournament favorite, I just think Duke is still the best team, despite the injuries. This is a tough bracket. I do think Kansas or St. John's could be tough in the Sweet 16. However, I have a lower opinion of both UConn and Michigan State, who they play in the Elite Eight. So I am going to be with you there.
Baby, I like that. I am going to be with you.
The West, we kind of have overarching. We have the same idea, but I don't really like Wisconsin that much. I actually have Arizona falling in the Sweet 16 as well, though, but I have them losing to Arkansas. I feel like Arkansas and Arizona are super similar teams. They play pretty similarly. They have just outstanding athletes. But, Darius Acuff, the way he played through the SEC tournament, if he continues that on, I mean, Arkansas, he's been banged up a lot of the year, missed some games. I think if he's fully healthy, I think they could take down Arizona. However, who I don't think they could take down, that I think plays a style I like a little bit better, more complete team, Purdue. I hate to go and contradict myself just with what I was saying. Not liking when people say a team's peaking at the right time, but I do think Purdue has it all together right now. Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman, Wren. I just like them inside outside. I'm going with Purdue. God, the Midwest is the toughest for me. So we'll go to the South next.
The Midwest is the toughest.
Well, just because of the Elite Eight game. I have a holding form to Michigan, Iowa State. I think that would be a great game. Apparently, I like Iowa State way more than you.
Okay.
South.
I'm just mad because the Iowa State coach left UNLV.
That's true.
Okay, good.
Okay. South, I am going to go Houston as well.
Nice.
I've been a little disappointed with them this year, though, to be honest. I know it's hard to say you're disappointed with anyone who's a 2 seed and they've lost, probably 5 or 6 games. But I just feel like talent-wise, this might be like the best team Kelvin Sampson's ever had. And they haven't performed like they're the best team necessarily. They got
probably, our local hasn't been lights out.
Yeah, one local. We got Milo Uzan coming back, 2 lottery picks probably. It's insane what they have. They play defense no one wants to match up against. I just wonder at some point is it all going to click? Maybe this is where it clicks. So I'm going to go with Houston as well.
Before you fill this out, you do realize that we're the same over here.
Or the same over
here. We might be in trouble.
Okay,
go too crazy on your wagering.
Well, this might be the tiebreaker. Then I think futures wise, I have a little bit on both Michigan and Iowa State, so I'd probably be fine either way. I have Iowa State to make the Final Four, Michigan to win the title. I still think Michigan's upside's so high, I'd probably rather have them in the Final Four vying for the title. But, man, I just think Iowa State's been underestimated all year. I think this is a really close game. I think you look at the bracket pools, Michigan's going to be like the overwhelming choice. People are going to have like 45% Michigan. I think it's probably closer between Iowa State, so I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to take Iowa State. If my life depended on it, would I take Michigan to beat them? Yes, but you got to kind of have some game theory in this. Play the percentages. I think too many people are going to be on Michigan, where I think Iowa State's just as good.
I know you're a value guy. I know you're a numbers guy, right?
Sure. Yeah, you could say that.
If you had, first of all, do we want to complete this?
Yeah, let's complete it.
Okay. I'll go Houston over Duke, Michigan over Wisconsin and Houston.
Okay, I'd be fine with that. I do not. I mean, what a glorious fluke last year that Houston beat Duke in the final. I still can't believe that happened. I see no way that Duke, with the best player in the nation, a second year in a row, loses in the Final Four.
Who's the best player in the nation?
Cam Boozer. Oh. Joshua Jefferson second, I think.
And I would say BYU is where.
Well, I mean, pro prospect wise, he's 1 or 2. But I think as far as what they've done on the court this year. I mean, I think all the metrics, all the numbers would.
Metrics.
He's top 5, but I think the 2 best players. I mean, runaway to me, Cam Boozer, Joshua Jefferson. I'm gonna go with. I just said how much I like Joshua Jefferson. I'm gonna go with him playing in the national title game. Iowa State, Duke for the national title. You had Houston winning. I'm gonna go with Duke winning. I feel like it's Duke's year. I can't if they don't get one national title after having the clear best team 2 years in a row. I don't. Okay. The fans should be up.
So if anybody was going to forget about the odds and the value and all that stuff. If you're going to make one bet to win this tournament, it would be Duke.
Don't think you cannot forget about the odds and the value. That's the whole thing. That's what you're betting. You're betting on a percentage of it happening. I mean, Duke right now, I think you can find like plus 225. I mean, that's just way too short for me.
Yeah, but they're going to win.
They're not necessarily going to win. I mean,
if I wanted the best odds, I would take St. Louis.
Well, no, because St. Louis is infinity, and you're not getting infinity. You're not getting endless riches if they win.
What if they
I have not. Win? Well, then you called it. We can we could say you called it here. I haven't looked at the futures again. I usually bet them super early. I kind of am stuck in place here. But hey, based on our bracket and the way we play it out, I mean we have Houston and Iowa State in the national championship. They're probably a little bit longer. Well, you have Houston, I have Iowa State. So
okay.
We have 2 representatives by a little longer.
I got you.
Maybe those are us.
Don't speak on my behalf. All right?
I mean, even then, if you think Duke is winning, would you if taking my bracket for example, if you think I'm the source of truth or I have a good chance, I'd rather take Iowa State at what are they probably right now, like 15 or 16 to 1. Then you get them to the national championship game against Duke. You can arb that and make money either way.
You put more time into this than I do.
I'd say that's probably accurate.
Yeah, probably accurate. It is accurate. I'm more worried about like getting a quarter and flipping it and saying heads or cents. And that goes there.
Okay.
I just want to thank you for helping us out, talking to our readers. And make sure you guys follow. Casey's going to have gambling coverage all throughout the tournament where he gives his analysis of games and who's going to win. And should be a fun time. A lot of people come to Vegas, go to the pool, have a few bottles of water, bet a few games, root for their alma mater. Your alma mater's in. My alma mater is playing Tuesday in the NIT.
We're 13, 14 years now.
Straight.
We're going to break that.
The day Selection Sunday was the day we moved into our house.
Oh, wow.
It's been a minute. Yeah. So,
got to break that, Josh Pastner.
Well,
got a chance next year, right?
It's all, you mentioned it earlier. It's all NIL.
Yeah.
Who could afford to build the best roster? UNLV can't build the best roster. And that's why you see 1 through 4 so heavily populated to get to the Sweet 16. For Case, I'm Ray. For Ray, I'm Case. Thank you for everybody behind the scenes at the Sun for recording this. And we hope you have a great time and stay reasonable on your bankroll when you're betting the chalky team.
Absolutely.
All righty.